To you again. We have entered into what we call, of course, now Holy Week. Yesterday I gave the message for Palm Sunday and focused on Passion. I want to look at that just for a couple of minutes, as I'm going to attempt to do each day this week as we are exiled, suppose we could say, from each other during what would be the biggest and certainly the most spiritual time of the year. Very, very special for us as Christians. So let me read this little passage from Matthew chapter 21 for you. This is after the triumphal entry and everything that I spoke about yesterday. Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. It is written, he says to them, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers." It's interesting to me that Jesus enters into that city. He has spent just over 3 years in his earthly ministry, going around with all the turmoil and the trauma and the frustration and people coming after him and everything that we know happened to him in his lifetime. And here he enters into the city for that last Passover feast. Don't worry about the movements. Angie's trying to move the dogs away and there's not much we can do about that. But he enters in there and there is a lot of emotion on that day for him. We reflected yesterday as how he wept for those who were going to kill him. Such was the passion in his heart for everybody. And surely it would be understandable, expected even perhaps, that as he then entered in and that whole scene had finished for him, maybe he would go and be quiet. Maybe he would go and sit somewhere nice, next to some lake or river or on a hill somewhere with his friends and his family. Surely we understand that at this time as we are in isolation. How much would you give to spend a day at the beach or beside a river, somewhere lovely with your friends and your family? I can see mine's here, photos of my family, my children, how much we miss them, how much would we love to be with them and hold them. Surely Jesus would have done that. But no, such was his passion, such was his desire to get as much information, as much as we need to know about the love of God, to get into that place of grace and salvation with him. Here is what Luke says. When Jesus entered the temple courts, he began to drive out those who were selling. It is written, he said to them, "My house will be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers." Then Luke goes on to say, every day he was teaching at the temple courts. The chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the leaders among the people were trying to kill him. Yet they could not find any way to do it because all the people hung on his words. This was a week that changed the world in that day. People hung on his words. People saw the goodness in him. People saw the love in him. People saw the morality in him. Now, Jesus didn't turn over those tables just for the sake of it. He didn't turn those tables over because they shouldn't have been there. People needed those people there. They were changing money for people coming from different regions and places in the world for this great festival, the Passover feast. They were selling them the dove, the sacrifices that they needed, but because people had travelled so far, they couldn't carry things with them and they were extorting them with extreme prices. We see it going on in this day. Hand sanitizers, 90 pence, but a few months back, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pounds for a little bottle. We see it. This was a week that changed the world, and we have an opportunity to change our lives, to change our world back to what it should be. And I would urge you all to spend this week reflecting on the words of Jesus, reflecting on the actions of Jesus, seeing the love of God for you in the words and actions of Jesus. The world can change again, but will you hang on his words? Or when it's over, will we simply go back to the mayhem that we were in?